My name is Beth Hiley here for Working Geek TV at Essen 2013. I'm sitting down with Uli Brenneman.
From Spielworks.
Yeah, from Spielworks. I know you
nice
had quite a run to get over here, so now you just get to sit
and relax
and talk about a game. And
yes.
That game is Agora.
The game is Agora, and it's a 2 to 4 player game. An Agora is a central marketplace of a Greek ancient city, and the game board shows you this city. At its heart, it's a worker placement game, but with some, in my opinion at least, with some interesting twists. And in 2009, it won the Hippodice Authors competition, so some people at least seem to like it or have liked it at that time. So shall I tell you something about how a turn is done?
Absolutely, yes. Now that we have an idea of theme.
Okay. What you see here are 5 different sections on the board. Here we have the trade area where 3 different dealers are there and they have different resources. We have 3 different resources in the game and they are connected to the dealers here. So we have wood, we have marble, and we have clay over here. But there can be, during the game, there can be more ones coming into the game, but we have only 3 ones available at a certain time. This is the scoring track, pretty standard. Each player starts with 5 victory points. The second section is the exchange. If you later have some cards in your hand, you can exchange them for different cards in a certain ratio. So here at this spot, 3 to 2, or 3 for 2, here 2 for 1. And then you can exchange them. The third area is very important. It's a store. This marketplace, this town place where the citizens talk to important scholars and they try to improve their rhetoric abilities. And this is most important in the game. You have to try to improve your rhetoric abilities. Each player has such a tableau. You see it's 2 to 4 players. And these are the 5 citizens a player has. So they are simply numbered A to E. And each one starts with a rhetoric ability of 1. But during the game, you try to improve them. They get better, they have better arguments, and
obviously,
they can argue.
Worth
yes,
more points.
More points too. And it's also, I get to this a little bit later, a game end. If you have some very good citizens in rhetoric abilities. The fourth area is the court. So here some dealers may be convicted of crime, so that they are exchanged. You have a prosecutor here and a judge. I get to this in a second. And the fifth and last area is the monument. Here you try to build a famous monument for the Greek heroes of the time. So what do you do in a certain in a sample turn? As I said, you have 5 citizens, and one at a time, you place them on the board.
There's your worker placement.
Yes, exactly, but hidden. So I could place it here, which means I try to get from the wood dealer 2 cards. And you see, this is also connected to the number of players. These spots are only available for 2 players, 3 players, 4 players. So you have more spots. And at most sectors...
have the right amount of spots to be competitive.
Exactly, you're right. And you also see you have to go in most sections from left to right. So if I put it in here, green cannot put the next one in a 4-player game here to get 2 cards too, but it has to place it here for just 1 card. Of course, it would have the option to put it in this space. No problem, it's pretty standard. The exchange is, I already explained it, it's different, it's not left to right, you can occupy any spot.
Pick which exchange rate you want.
Yes, exactly. Of course, if all 4 spots are taken, it's not possible to put in more. Here it's the same from left to right, but here you improve your rhetoric ability. If I'm here at the end, I flip it over, then I get 2 points for my citizen D. So D would improve from 1 to 3. Here you get only 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. But in order to do that, you have to discard one of your resource cards, any kind. So it doesn't matter. If you do not have them at this moment, bad luck, then you cannot improve your rhetoric ability. In the court, there are two steps. First, the player who has the highest rhetoric ability determines the prosecutor. So let's assume this is flipped over. Blue would have 2 + 2, 4. The green one is just 3. Blue is a prosecutor, which means that they can flip over one of the dealers. He is charged of being guilty. And this means that he loses his place. It's a very valuable place. If there's a tie, you would actually look, let's say this is 1 and 2 versus 3, then it's the highest one who is doing it. It's the highest single one. Yes, exactly. But after you have determined one dealer as maybe being guilty, there's also the judge element. This was prosecution. Here's the judge. You give these 5 lot markers, which correspond to the citizens, to the player to the right. So normally to that player.
So I would give mine to you.
Exactly. Then you flip them over, shuffle them, and take out 3. These are the 3 ones whose rhetoric abilities count for this judge action. So again, its highest number is the judge. Second highest one is already out. If there is a tie, again, this is the strongest or best rhetoric abilities of a single one. So we are in court. We try to talk very well. We try to have the best arguments. And the judge can either say he's guilty, which means he's going to the prison. A new one is coming in, and he is so thankful to get this spot that he may take 2 of the cards of his resource. But let's assume that the judge has no interest, and all the citizens that are here in this row lose 1 point of rhetoric ability too.
For dealing with a criminal.
Yes, exactly. You're right. But let's say you have no interest. Blue wins it, but it has a blue citizen here, so it says not guilty. Then it's simply flipped over. The prosecutor, because the prosecution was wrong, the verdict, he loses 1 rhetoric ability. 1 victory point, I'm sorry. So you're going down. And because the current one is thankful, he gives the judge 1 card. Not 2 cards, but 1 card. Okay, but this is actually very simple because you have only 1 court action per turn.
Right.
The monument is pretty exciting in my opinion. You have only a maximum of 3 spots, 3 with 4 players. In a 2-player game, just 1. So you have to be careful not to be too late. But in order to climb to the next step here, these are victory points, of course, you have to give up that amount of resource cards from your hand.
Right, so I'm guessing these are across different types?
Exactly. So it could be 2 of one kind type and 1 of the other. But these 2 determine the 2 kinds. And these are demand markers, and more can come in later. They are actually placed here. So you could discard 2 of the clays and 1 marble, or the other way around. Of course, if you move up, next one could be 3 here, and it gets more and more difficult.
But more and more valuable.
Exactly, right. That you are doing, it's not a fixed game end. So we play 10 turns, 8 turns, 12 turns, but it's variable. The game may end in 3 different ways. Either when all 6 prison places are filled, the game is over. Or 1 player has reached the highest value at the monument, it's over. Or 1 player has 2 of his citizens at the highest amount of victory points. Then you simply count victory points. Here you will have probably, because of the monument climb, because of court actions. And here, of course, 1, 2, 3 points may be added as well. And finally, at the end, where you have the most resources, you get 1 bonus point. So let's assume you played very well, you have the most clay, the most marble, the most wood, you would get another 3 points to it. That's it. So it's pretty easy mechanically. The rules booklet is just 8 pages, but there's a lot in it. But what you have to decide, is it now valuable to go here? And with which one? Or do I go to this spot here? Or do I try to increase my rhetoric abilities? But then, of course, it's a standard worker placement dilemma. Then I cannot improve in the other kinds. And sometimes it's also important to be in one spot first. And to my mind, why I like this game, I like worker placement games in general, but the theme is different. It's ancient, this is not new, of course. There are so many ancient games, but improving the rhetoric abilities in the Stoa, in my opinion, is something which is nice. But families can enjoy the game, but of course, players are the main target group for gamers for this game.
Now, as you resolve each of these areas, are you then flipping over
Yes.
at that time?
Yes.
So as you're resolving the market here, you still don't know the
Exactly, right.
identities of the citizens up
Yes,
here.
you're absolutely right. This is true. Per section, and these sections are numbered. I tried to explain them in this order,
well, they tend
but
to
it's
go-
resolved from 1 to
Right.
5, and then it's over.
They definitely flow in that order
Yes,
across the board
yes.
as well. If you had a full 4-player game, how long do you think it would take you?
It will take 75 minutes,
So
that's for
quite-
sure.
Yeah, that's a pretty fast game for worker placement.
Yeah, it's not really a long playing game, because you can, of course, try to, if you see I'm here ahead, you try to concentrate on it and end the game quickly. But of course, other players could be here to do the prosecution themselves, or to say, no, this one is not guilty. So the final spot is not filled.
Right. Well, Uli, I'm so glad you made it here.
I thank you so much.
I'm glad you got to sit for a little while, even if it was on camera, to show us Agora. And
Thanks
this is
a lot.
published by Spielworks.
Thank you.